My wife told the doctor I was dying. That I was no longer capable of understanding anything. I was in the next room. Not asleep. Not confused. Listening to every word. He won't question anything anymore, she said. Just keep increasing the dosage. The doctor hesitated. She didn't. I need this approved fast, she added. Before anyone else gets access. Once it's documented, it's done. That was the moment I understood. This wasn't treatment. This was a setup. I didn't move. Didn't make a sound. Because the second they knew I was aware, everything would change. And I wouldn't just be sick anymore. I'd be a problem. And problems get removed. Quietly. Without questions. Without records. My name is Daniel Carter. I'm 58 years old. And my wife had just decided how and when I was supposed to disappear. I stayed in bed the next morning. Didn't rush. Didn't react. Because now it mattered more how I moved than what I felt. My wife came in quietly. Too quietly. She used to knock. Now she just entered. How are you feeling? She asked. Soft voice. Measured. Like she was reading from something. I didn't answer right away. Let the silence sit. Then I looked at her. Confused. Slow. Exactly how she expected. She smiled. Relieved. That told me everything. She walked closer. Set a glass on the table. Water. And pills. More than usual. I noticed immediately. Different color. Different shape. These will help stabilize you, she said. Stabilize. Not treat. Not heal. Stabilize. I picked one up. Turned it slightly in my fingers. No label. No marking. That was wrong. I've taken medication before. There's always something. A code. A number. This had nothing. Take them now, she said. Still smiling. Still calm. Watching. Not caring how I felt. Only that I swallowed. I hesitated. Just for a second. Her eyes changed. Barely. But I saw it. Tension. Sharp. Hidden. Then she relaxed again. You forgot again, didn't you? She said softly. Like she was helping me. Like I was already gone. I nodded. Slow. Played along. Took the pills. Lifted the glass. But I didn't swallow. Not all of it. I kept one. Hidden. Under my tongue. Waited. Counted seconds. Then pretended. Drank. Coughed slightly. Swallowed the rest. She watched. Carefully. Too carefully. Then she smiled again. Satisfied. Good, she said. And left the room. The moment the door closed. I moved. Fast. Precise. Spit the pill into my hand. Looked at it again. Still nothing. No mark. No trace. Just smooth surface. Clean. Manufactured. But not standard. That wasn't medication. That was control. I stood up slowly. Walked to the bathroom. Locked the door. Turned on the water. Then opened the cabinet. Empty. Not just organized. Cleared. My usual prescriptions. Gone. Every single one. Replaced. I stared at the shelf. At the space where everything used to be. And that's when it stopped being a feeling. Stopped being doubt. This wasn't in my head. This wasn't confusion. Something was wrong. And it was happening around me. Not inside me. I looked at the pill in my hand. Then at my reflection. And for the first time, I didn't see someone getting weaker. I saw someone being made weaker. On purpose. Carefully. Step by step. And no one was going to question it. I stopped taking the pills. Not openly. Carefully. One swallowed. One hidden. One gone. A pattern of my own. Because if I changed too fast, she'd notice. And I needed her comfortable. Certain. Wrong. By the third day, things started aligning. Too precisely. Too clean. My phone was gone. Not misplaced. Gone. I checked the usual places. Desk. Drawer. Bathroom. Nothing. When I asked, she smiled. You kept losing it, she said. I thought it was safer if I held on to it. Safer. That word again. I nodded. Slow. Grateful. Like I didn't understand what she had just taken from me. Access. Contacts. Proof. Control. I moved through the house. Quiet. Observing. Doors I never locked. Now closed. Files. Missing. My office. Rearranged. Not messy. Worse. Organized. By someone who knew exactly what mattered. That wasn't panic. That was preparation. That evening, the doctor came back. No warning. No appointment. Just walked in. Like he belonged there. They spoke in the hallway. Low voices. But not low enough. His response is slower, he said. Good, my wife replied. We need consistency. Consistency. Like this was a process. A schedule. Not a person. Have you increased it? He asked. Yes. Pause. Then. Good. That keeps everything aligned with the report. Report. Another word. Another piece. I stayed where I was. Out of sight. Still. Because now it was clear. This wasn't just happening. It was being managed. Measured. Documented. I went back to my room. Closed the door halfway. Not fully. Enough to hear. Enough to watch. Later that night. My stepson arrived. He didn't greet me. Didn't check on me. Walked straight to her. They went into the kitchen. Spoke openly. No fear. No hesitation. He signed, the stepson asked. Most of it, she said. What about the rest? He will, she replied calmly. He doesn't even know what he's signing anymore. Silence. Then a quiet laugh. Short. Satisfied. That's when the pattern locked in. Not just pills. Not just control. Documents. Signatures. Timing. Everything connected. Everything moving toward something. I looked at my hands. Steady. Not weak. Not confused. Just, controlled. That's when I realized. They weren't waiting for me to die. They were building a version of me. That already had. And using it. To take everything. Legally. Cleanly. Without resistance. I sat back slowly. Let the silence settle. Because now. It wasn't suspicion anymore. It was structure. And structure means intent. I needed proof. Not feelings. Not guesses. Something real. Something that would hold. So I waited. Not long. Just enough for them to get careless. It happened the next morning. She left early. No goodbye. No check-in. Just a quiet door closing. Too quiet. The house shifted the moment she was gone. Different air. Different rhythm. I moved. Slow. Careful. Not like a sick man. Like someone being watched. Because I was. There were cameras. I was sure of it now. But cameras don't see everything. Not if you give them what they expect. I walked to my office. Paused. Then opened the door halfway. Same position as before. Same angle. Consistency. That's what they wanted. So I gave it to them. Inside. Something was off. Not missing. Hidden. That's worse. I checked the desk. Nothing. Drawers. Nothing. Then I saw it. A folder. Too clean. Too placed. Not mine. I opened it. Slow. Inside. Documents. Medical reports. My name. My signature. Diagnosis. Terminal neurological decline. Severe cognitive deterioration. Prognosis. Less than 6 months. I didn't blink. Didn't react. Because the signature was mine. Perfect. Exact. But I hadn't signed this. I turned the page. Insurance documents. Policies. Amendments. Beneficiary, my wife. Secondary, her son. Coverage amount. Everything. Every asset. Every backup. Every clause rewritten. Date of approval. 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks. Before any symptoms. Before any doctor. Before any pills. This wasn't reaction. This was plan. I kept reading. There it was. A note. Small. Typed. Clinical. Condition must be documented consistently across medical visits. Consistently. That word again. I closed the folder. Carefully. Exactly as I found it. Because now. I knew. Not suspected. Knew. They weren't helping me. They were creating a case. Building a version of reality. Paper by paper. Signature by signature. Until there was no difference. Between truth and record. I stepped back. Slow. Controlled. Then I heard it. The front door. Too early. She was back. I moved to the chair. Sat down. Picked up a book. Opened it. Upside down. Like before. Breathing shallow. Eyes unfocused. Exactly how she expected me to be. She walked in. Paused. Watching me. Measuring. Always measuring. Did you take your medication? She asked. I nodded. Weak. Slow. Like it cost me something. She smiled. Soft. Satisfied. Then she walked to my desk. Opened the drawer. Checked the folder. Still there. Still untouched. She exhaled. Relief. That was the moment. The confirmation. Not just betrayal. Execution. And the stakes were no longer my health. They were my existence. Because on paper, I was already gone. I waited until night. Not because I needed time. Because I needed truth. Raw. Unfiltered. People lie in daylight. At night, they relax. They show who they are. The house was quiet. Lights off. Doors closed. But not locked. Never locked. That would mean fear. And they weren't afraid. Not of me. I moved through the hallway. Slow. Silent. Not like a patient. Like a witness. Her door was slightly open. Voices inside. Low. Calm. Comfortable. I stopped. Listened. Did he sign everything? Her son asked. Not worried. Not nervous. Just, procedural. He doesn't even remember what day it is, she said. A soft laugh followed. Familiar. Warm. The same laugh she used. When we used to sit together in the kitchen. Before all this. Good, he said. Then we just wait. Wait. For what? For the next evaluation, she continued. The doctor is ready. Doctor. Not his doctor. Theirs. He'll confirm progression, she added. Progression. Like it was already decided. Like my future was scheduled. And after that, he asked. A pause. Then. We file. Simple. Clean. Final. No complications, he said. No, she replied. Confident. Certain. He's already losing control. Soon he won't be able to contest anything. I felt that. Not the words. The certainty. That quiet belief. That I was already finished. And the assets, he asked. All secured, she said. All of them. A chair moved. Glass touched wood. They were drinking. Celebrating. Already. Funny, he said. He built everything, and doesn't even see it leaving. She laughed again. This time louder. Colder. And something inside me. Shifted. Not broke. Shifted. Because this wasn't just money. Or documents. Or signatures. This was erasure. They weren't taking what I had. They were removing what I was. Piece by piece. Record by record. Until nothing remained. But a diagnosis. And a file. I should have walked away. Pretended I never heard it. Kept playing the role. Stayed quiet. Stayed invisible. But then she said something. That stopped everything. He always trusted me, she said. Soft. Almost thoughtful. Made it easy. Easy. That word. Cut deeper than anything else. Not betrayal. Not theft. Ease. Like I had handed it to her. Like I had helped them do it. Silence followed. Heavy. Satisfied. Complete. I stepped back. Careful. Controlled. No sound. No reaction. Because now. There was no doubt. No confusion. No denial. This wasn't suspicion anymore. This was truth. Clear. Sharp. Irreversible. I returned to my room. Closed the door. Sat down. Hands steady. Breathing even. Heart, quiet. Too quiet. Because something had changed. Not outside. Inside. A line had been crossed. And there was no going back. No fixing this. No talking. No forgiveness. Only one direction left. Forward. Through them. Because they thought I was disappearing. They thought I was losing myself. They thought I didn't understand. They were wrong. I understood everything. And that understanding cost them everything. I didn't confront them. That would have been a mistake. Emotion exposes you. And I needed to disappear, correctly. So I became exactly what they wanted. Slower. Quieter. Less precise. I missed a step on the stairs. Paused too long before answering. Forgot names I knew for years. Small things. Believable things. They watched. Of course they did. And every time they relaxed a little more. That was the first layer. Control what they see. The second. Control what exists. The next morning, I asked for help. Her help. My voice softer. Uncertain. I think I forgot something important, I said. She came immediately. Concern on her face. Too perfect. What is it? She asked. I looked at the desk. At the papers. Confused. I remember signing something, but I don't remember what. Her eyes flickered. Just for a second. Then she smiled. It's nothing. Just routine paperwork. Routine. That word again. I nodded. Like I believed her. Like I needed her. And she stepped closer. Too close. Comfortable. Certain. That was her mistake. Because now she started explaining things. Carefully. Slowly. Like I couldn't understand. But I listened. Every word. Every detail. Every gap. And I learned. Which documents mattered. Which ones didn't. Which ones they needed signed again. Which ones were already finalized. She thought she was guiding me. She was giving me a map. That was the second layer. Let them teach you their plan. The third was timing. I needed access. Not force. Not risk. Access. So I asked again. Later. Even weaker. I think I need to check the insurance, I said. For peace of mind. She hesitated. Not long. But enough. Then. Of course, she said. Because refusing me would break the image. The caring wife. The supportive one. She opened the folder herself. Placed it in front of me. Watched as I flipped through it. Slow. Unfocused. Like I didn't understand what I was reading. But I did. Every clause. Every adjustment. Every trigger condition. And there it was. Buried. Not obvious. But present. A dependency clause. Final payout required external verification. In case of cognitive impairment. External. Not internal. Not their doctor. Someone else. Unconnected. Uncontrolled. They had overlooked it. Or underestimated it. Either way. It stayed. And that was enough. I closed the folder. Hands slightly shaking. Performance. Always performance. I don't understand any of this, I said. She touched my shoulder. Gentle. Reassuring. It's okay. I'll take care of everything. I believed her. Visibly. Completely. And she relaxed again. That was the third layer. Give them certainty. So they stopped checking. After that. I stopped asking questions. Stopped looking. Stopped reacting. I became background. Furniture. Something already fading. They stopped watching as closely. Stopped listening as carefully. Conversations got louder. Doors stayed open longer. Details slipped. Names mentioned. Dates. Appointments. Everything I needed came to me. Without effort. Without force. Because they thought there was nothing left to hide. That was their final mistake. Because while they were preparing to erase me on paper, I was rebuilding myself. Outside of it. Quietly. Precisely. Completely unseen. And by the time they realized, it wouldn't matter what they had planned. Because the outcome was no longer theirs to control. I didn't rush. Rushing creates noise. Noise creates mistakes. I needed silence. Precision. The first move was invisible. A call. Short. Controlled. To someone they didn't know existed. External verification. Required. Activated. I didn't explain everything. Just enough. Name. Policy number. Concern about manipulation. And one word. Fraud. That was enough. The process started quietly. Behind the scenes. Exactly where they couldn't see it. The second move. Timing. I let them proceed. Let them believe. Everything was ready. Because pressure works best when it builds inside certainty. 3 days later. She made her move. Confident. Dressed carefully. Documents prepared. Her son beside her. Calm. Focused. They were ready to claim everything. I watched her leave. Didn't stop her. Didn't question. Just sat there. Silent. Like always. Because now. I didn't need to act. They would. For me. The call came 2 hours later. Not to her. To me. Verification requested. Identity confirmed. Cognitive evaluation required. External. Independent. Immediate. I agreed. Of course I did. That was the third move. Change the ground beneath them. Without warning. Without noise. She came back fast. Too fast. Door slammed. Footsteps sharp. Not controlled anymore. Why did they call you? She asked. No softness. No performance. Just tension. I looked at her. Slow. Confused. They wanted to check something, I said. Her eyes narrowed. Calculating. Adjusting. Trying to understand. What shifted? They don't do that, she said. Not to me. To herself. That was the moment. The first crack. Small. But real. Her son stepped forward. More aggressive. More direct. What exactly did you tell them? I blinked. Took a second too long. Performance. I don't remember, I said. And that was worse for them than any answer. Because now they couldn't control the narrative. Couldn't predict the variables. Couldn't correct the version of me they had already built. The fourth move. Evidence. The evaluation happened the next day. Neutral office. Neutral faces. No influence. No scripts. No prepared doctor. Just questions. Clear. Sharp. Measured. And I answered. Perfectly. Names. Dates. Details. Contracts. Clauses. Everything. No hesitation. No confusion. No decline. The report was immediate. Cognitive function, intact. No signs of impairment. No evidence of deterioration. The version they created collapsed. On paper. In record. In fact. That was the moment. They started losing control. But I didn't stop there. Because exposing truth is not the same as winning. The fifth move. Documentation. I submitted everything. The reports. The inconsistencies. The duplicate signatures. The altered records. Quietly. Systematically. No emotion. No accusations. Just facts. Aligned. Structured. Undeniable. The response was fast. Faster than they expected. Because institutions don't react to feelings. They react to risk. And this was risk. High. Legal. Financial. Criminal. By the time they realized what was happening, it was already moving. Beyond them. Beyond me. Procedures. Investigations. Freezes. Reviews. Everything paused. Everything questioned. She tried to call me that night. Multiple times. I didn't answer. Not yet. Let the pressure sit. Let it grow. Let it turn inward. Because panic doesn't come from attack. It comes from uncertainty. And now. They had plenty of it. The next morning. She stood in front of me. No mask. No softness. Just fear. Raw. Visible. What did you do? She asked. I looked at her. Calm. Steady. Present. For the first time. Fully present. Nothing, I said. And that was true. Because they had done everything themselves. I had only made it visible. And now. There was no version of reality. Where they stayed in control. They didn't arrest her that day. Or the next. It was slower than that. More precise. Accounts were frozen first. Then the policy. Then every document they had touched. Was pulled into review. Quietly. Systematically. Her son tried to fix it. Calls. Emails. Pressure. None of it worked. Because this time. The system wasn't theirs. The investigator contacted me a week later. Calm voice. Clear words. Your case is confirmed. Fraud. Forgery. Intentional manipulation. Not suspected. Proven. I thanked him. Nothing more. There was nothing else to say. She came back that night. Different. Not angry. Not controlled. Just, empty. How long? She asked. Not about the investigation. About me. How long did you know? I looked at her. Steady. Unmoved. Long enough, I said. Silence. Heavy. Final. She nodded. Once. Because she understood. There was no argument left. No version where she could recover this. No narrative to rebuild. Only consequences. They didn't take everything from her. They took enough. Enough to stop her. Enough to expose her. Enough to make sure. She would never try again. As for me. I didn't rebuild. I didn't need to. Because nothing they did had actually taken anything. Not my mind. Not my control. Not my name. That was their mistake. They tried to erase me on paper. But paper can be corrected. Records can be rewritten. Truth stays. I closed the final report. Placed it back in the folder. Exactly where it belonged. Clean. Complete. Finished. And for the first time in weeks. The house was quiet. Not empty. Not tense. Just, still. Controlled. The way it should have been. From the beginning. Thank you for listening. Calm justice doesn't shout. It keeps records.